what bottlenecks do you see with Ergo? How are they being rectified? I think coming into this year, we had a couple of bottlenecks, and I would say three of them probably. The first was the wallet side itself was pretty immature. We've seen really a lot of great development there. I would extend that to the full node wallet. I have to give Ergo wallet a shout out for, bootstrapping a full node build that's pretty easy to sync on in multiple environments. That's been a huge community resource in terms of hardening the network and getting more nodes out there, validating the blocks that are coming out. And I think the Explorer was probably the third. I think that was probably something that we can continue to improve, and hopefully in time, dApps themselves start hosting their own instances. And, who knows, maybe we even get to the point where, users have that ability as well if they choose to. What bottlenecks do you see in the ecosystem, Ilya?
Well, the main bottlenecks I can see actually is well, I don't know how to answer this question.
That's honestly is the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Open source your thoughts, Ilya. Open source your thoughts to us.
I promise I won't cry on video.
I might.
Okay. So I guess our ecosystem is developing pretty organically. So I don't see any obvious bottlenecks currently.
What do you think, Dan?
Well, I wouldn't say they're bottlenecks per se, but really what I've noticed, and this is something that has gotten a lot better in our ecosystem, is individual brand identity and project organization. Okay, because just when I joined the ecosystem, things seemed a lot more scattered, right? So, I mean, the big prominent projects were with Ergonauts, right? A couple other ones, but really we have so many more. There's so many more projects, and there wasn't enough visibility, because everybody just kind of was doing their own thing, and some people felt a little bit, unsure about things, and some people kind of felt like, well, I'll do it today, maybe tomorrow I won't, maybe the next day I will. And I think that was just growing pains, right? And so now what I'm seeing is, and I think that this growth that we're seeing in the ecosystem right now, it didn't just kind of like just all of a sudden everybody woke up and started doing stuff. This was in the making, right? We just reached critical mass. And I think that our bottleneck was reaching that critical mass, if you want to call it that. But I think we're past that. I think we have reached critical mass. I think we're in a place where people are finding their own identity with what they're creating. They're not afraid to put themselves out there. And I mean, it's natural. I mean, the same thing happened with Cardano. Cardano there were no projects of building on Cardano. And then there were a couple of projects, but nobody really knew about them. And then all of a sudden, there's like hundreds of projects now building on Cardano. The same thing with Ergo. It needed to reach that critical mass. It did. And so now we have, now we have Spectrum. Now we have, now we have Sea Harbor. Now we have Nautilus. Now we have, Comet, doing more Comet stuff. I mean, pardon me if I'm not including everybody that's in the ecosystem right now. It just is going to take like an hour because there's so many great projects going on right now. But it's really, really awesome to see this. It's really awesome to see that we have gone past that critical mass, And I mean, that of course, that's not all, right? We're going to have to work where there's going to be new challenges, new levels we're going to have to level up to as the ecosystem grows. We're going to get more, more institutional like projects, more larger commercial projects, which is natural. Yeah. However, this right now feels great, and I think that we're definitely on the right path. We're definitely on the right path. And again, guys, if you're building, if there's still people building right now that feel self-conscious about what they're building, don't. This is Ergo. We don't judge. We'll only judge you if you don't tell us. Joe will judge you if you don't do it open source, probably.
No, I mean, if someone doesn't want to build open source, I don't have a problem with that. They're their own developer. They're doing their own work. But I think it's also important to talk about the trade-offs and the potential security issues there, right? We went from like a open, permissionless, censorship-resistant environment as like the core goal of cryptocurrencies to, if it's a black box that is permissioned and potentially censored, that's, more okay. And that's created huge issues for our industry, especially this year. If you look at a lot of the, let's say, protocols that, blew up, were over leveraged or, in the process of liquidation and now I guess are in court. A lot of them were just black boxes with unknown assumptions. And, it's damaging is the bottom line.
No, it's damaging to the whole industry, I think, because as an industry, we're still looking for legitimacy in the main, in the mainstream. And of course, it's not always about, some of those guys can go screw themselves, but then you can say that across the board.
Yeah.
We still need to have that certain level of credibility. And, these platforms that are, getting to, $50 billion and offering 400% yield and then, dumping and rugging people. That doesn't do us any good. That doesn't do projects like Ergo any good. Doesn't do anybody any good in the ecosystem and the blockchain ecosystem, because that's irresponsible. That's not sustainable.